Is this new Mercedes EQA the best all-round electric car? Well, in this video we're going to find out, because I'm going to talk you through the changes over the normal GLA petrol diesel model. I'm going to show you what's good about it, what's not so good about it, take it for a drive and see what its real-world range is. I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Carwow.
Buying a new car? Then head to Carwow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. Carwow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start this video by talking about the price. So the EQA starts from £43,000. However, you get £3,000 towards that price from the government because it's a plug-in electric vehicle. So it means it actually starts from around £40,000, which interestingly is about £8,000 more than the normal GLA. Still, you've got all the batteries and the motor and stuff. Now you can spend a bit more if you want the AMG line version, then that's an extra 1,500 quid. And if you want some extra kit such as a panoramic sunroof and augmented reality satellite navigation, you want the premium package, that's £3,000. Or you can go the whole hog and go for the premium plus package, which is an extra £6,000 and has lots of extra kit that you don't really need. Now if you're thinking about buying a new car, an EQA, or maybe something else completely different, then you want to check out Carwow, because on average Carwow buyers save around £2,900 without having to haggle. Now I'll put a link to Carwow and the best offers that we've got going on right now up there, popping out at the top right corner of the screen. Click on that or follow the link below the video. Alternatively, at a later date, you can just simply Google "Help Me Carwow" and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Now let's talk about the design, because to the untrained eye, this just looks like an everyday Mercedes GLA, but this eye is trained. Or is it this one? I can't remember. Anyway, I can spot some differences on this EQA. It gets this chrome bit of trim there that you don't get on the normal GLA. Wow. You also get this EQA badge here on the wing. The wheel designs are unique as well. They're aerodynamic. They have this extra bit there which helps reduce drag, increases your efficiency. This is actually riding on the 18-inch alloy wheels, which is the starting wheel size, but they go all the way up to 20s. Here at the back, there are some more obvious changes. The main one's this. You get this full-length light bar. Looks really cool, especially when it's lit up. Now, because they've fitted this, they've had to move the Mercedes badge from there to down there, and they've made it functional. Look, it now is the boot release. Stop. Them in electric tailgates. Other than that, the only other changes really are just more chrome yet again, because that'll help make up for the fact that you're paying more for this electric version. Chrome. Anyway, the chrome's here, look. Chrome. More chrome here. Then, of course, you've got your EQA badge as well in chrome. The biggest change is here at the front. So instead of the normal grille, because you haven't got an engine that needs cooling, they've blanked it out and coloured it in black. It's sort of like the car is wearing a big COVID mask. This is the AMG line version, so you get these two silver bars there. If you don't have the AMG line version, just the normal sport, it's just completely blacked out like that. The AMG line is definitely cooler, and it gets deeper front bumpers, which just look more aggressive as well. All models get adaptive LED headlights with a blue streak in them as well to signify the car is electric. Here on the inside of the EQA, there are very few changes over the normal GLA, apart from blue stitching. Yeah, look at this. How very electric, and there's even little blue accents in the air vents as well. You also get some EQA specific displays for the infotainment system. You have various information about charging and all that kind of stuff. Then on the driver's display, you have some EQ dials and various EQ and electric related information as well. Oh, look, the mats. They're special EQ mats. EQ badging on the sills. Wow. Now, what do you think of the colour of this car's interior? It's a bit unusual, isn't it? It's because this is actually a German car. Look, I can prove it because the playlist is... That's the playlist they sent us on the infotainment system. The UK model is slightly different in terms of the spec. For instance, you get Alcantara on the seats for the AMG line version. Very similar to just the GLA, which is not bad. It's a nice interior. Now, if you want to find out more about the GLA in itself, then I'll put a link up there to my review of it. You can click on that. You can go check it out for more detail about things like storage space and stuff like that. Okay, I'll just quickly cover it off. Look, storage and charging mat, storage. It's all good. Here in the back, the blue stitching thing continues on the doors, on the seats and on the floor mats. But that isn't the important thing that I've got to tell you. It's the fact that the batteries are partially underneath these seats. So to preserve headroom, which is actually pretty good back here, look, fine. They've actually had to mount the seats quite low in relation to the floor. So there's not much of a gap between the seat base and the floor itself. And as a result, I'm in this position, which is pretty much like I'm squatting. In fact, if I was sat in this position too long, I'd start to want to go for a number 2. You end up wanting to sit like that. which is annoying. I think the back seats in a Volvo XC40 electric are slightly better. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, put a link, it should be popping out just in the top right hand corner of the screen, or there is a link below. That is a shame because knee room's fine. There's another thing about the back seats in this car. In the normal GLA, you can slide the bench forward and backwards and you can recline the back seats, but not so here. They are fixed. It's the price you pay for going electric and having to fit in loads of batteries somewhere in the car. You see, this car is designed to be an internal combustion engine and they've made it electric. So it's a compromise when you go electric. It's not a bespoke electric car. Oh well. There's more compromises to be made for going electric here when it comes to the boot, because the capacity is 340 litres. By comparison, the normal GLAs is 495 litres. The reason is you've got some batteries underneath the boot floor, which means you don't have underfloor storage. Doesn't look that bad though. You can actually fit 5 airplane size luggage cases in there, and there's no load lip to lift stuff over, so you can slide things out. But if you want some secret storage underneath the floor like you'd have in the normal GLA, you don't. You've got your charging cable there and some tyre repair kit. That's your lot. So it's a bit annoying. You can carry more items by folding down the rear seats like that. Look, and they split 3 ways, which is good, and you get a flat load bay, but still, for a car this size, the luggage capacity isn't quite what you expect. And that brings you on to 5 annoying things about this car. If you're going for the full environmentally friendly approach, you can have vegan friendly Artico leather, fake leather seats. It's good that. Unfortunately though, the steering wheel is in Napa real leather, so yes, it is trimmed in dead cow. You can get the EQA with an electrically deployable tow bar for £750. However, this car can only tow 750 kilos. That's £1 per kilo you can tow. The normal GLA, if you go for the diesel 4-wheel drive, that can tow 2 tons. Even if you go for the top specification version of the EQA, you still have to pay an extra £1,500 if you want adaptive cruise control, which will keep you a safe distance from the car in front and steer to keep you in lane. It really should be standard on a car at this price. Being an electric car, there's no big engine underneath the bonnet, so obviously Mercedes has utilised that space to create some extra storage. And look at this, they haven't at all. It's got a load of gubbins in there, and oh well. The weight of the normal GLA starts at just over 1,500 kilos. This EQA weighs over 2 tons. That's 500 kilos more. You can blame the batteries for adding all that extra bulk. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. Being an electric car, you can actually preheat the car in the winter so it's nice and toasty for when you get in it, or pre-cool it in the summer so it's not too hot and sweaty inside by using an app on your mobile phone. The car has an energy flow meter down here, and it tells you whether you're recouping lost energy under braking and putting it back into the battery, like there, or if you're using the battery power to drive the motor, like now. It's all very clear for you to see. The satellite navigation system takes into account the speed of the chargers along your route, and it will pick the best charger for you to stop at. And the total journey time takes into account any time you have to spend stopped charging. There's a lot of hoo-ha from petrol heads saying that these electric cars, they're not actually that environmentally friendly because the factories which produce them churn out a load of carbon. Well, actually from 2022, all Mercedes factories will be carbon neutral. They've also made sure that the batteries for the cars are ethically sourced, so you can be very, very smug that you are being environmentally friendly with your EQA. These steering wheel pedals aren't for changing gear, because of course this car doesn't have a gearbox, it's electric. Instead, they actually reduce the regen effect when you lift off the accelerator for how much engine, or should that be motor braking, you get. And you can have it quite severe, so you can really just drive the car along just using the accelerator without having to touch the brakes. The EQA has a usable battery pack of 66.5 kilowatt hours. You can charge it at a rate of up to 100 kilowatts. And if you can find one of those chargers, you can charge it from 10% to 80% full in just 30 minutes. The EQA is powered by a front-mounted electric motor that drives the front wheels. It puts out 190 horsepower and 375 newton meters of torque. Eventually, you'll be able to get a 4-wheel drive version and higher performance models as well. Finally then, I'm going to drive the EQA. Now the first thing I'm going to do is reset the trick computer so I can work out the real world range. There we are, that is that done. Let's try out a variety of roads, starting off with in town. This is a key place for an electric car to do well. If you're driving in London, which a lot of people will be, and I would be if I had this car, you're faced with a lot of speed humps. So the suspension has to be able to deal with those and poorly surfaced roads. However, this one is dealing with the bumps all right. Part of the reason for that is that this one has the adaptive suspension. Annoyingly, you can only get it with the Premium Plus pack. You can't get it as an optional extra on its own on other models. Oh, here's a pothole. What's it like? Oh, a bit of a thump actually. It's not brilliant, but it's doing all right. Being an SUV, you're sitting up fairly high, so you get a decent view out, which is great when you're navigating through traffic. Okay, we're coming up to some lights now. First time to try the brakes, which can sometimes be problematic on electric cars, because for the first press of the pedal, you're actually regenerating lost energy, put it into the battery. I've actually just lifted off the accelerator and didn't have to touch the brakes at all. It used the regen effect to slow me down, which is good, so I can do one pedal driving. As I'm braking for these speed humps, the brakes can feel a little bit sensitive when you're not used to them. They really can feel a little bit jerky, so you have to reprogram your brain to just be a bit more gentle on them. But at first it's a bit like, oh god, yeah, oh, suddenly braking. Now look at this, I've got my augmented reality satellite navigation system telling me to go left here. It's endless speed humps around here, but I'm not too bothered because this guy's doing a decent job. And I just managed to squeeze through that narrow gap there between the parked car and the van, because I really do have a good view of the corners of this car. As you haven't got a petrol motor just whirring away the whole time, when you're pottering about town, it really is quite serene driving in this car. Nice and relaxing, quiet. One thing I've noticed about just driving this around for a bit now is the steering. It really is nice and light, which is great for being in town. I think that pretty much sums up this car. It's just easy to drive. Joining the motorway now, let's accelerate up to speed. Oh yeah, that instant power is always good. By electric car standards, this car doesn't fly. 0 to 60 is 8.9 seconds, so it's all right, but it's not like that electric car fast that you can get from other electric cars. Something like a Tesla will blow this away. That really pushes you back in your seat, but it's okay. Let's just try something else, see what it's like from 50 miles an hour to 70. I'm at 50, I'm going to accelerate. Now, how long to get up to 70? There we go. Not rocket speed like you'd have from some other electric cars, but acceptable. It's fairly quiet on the motorway. All I can hear is the rain against the windscreen. I could do lots of miles on this. Well, as many miles as it would allow me to before I have to stop and recharge. It's saying I've got a range of 202 miles left. How much battery have we got? 88%. I've only done 5 miles. This particular car has upgraded cruise control with steering assist, so I've set the speed to 70 miles an hour. It's keeping me a safe distance from the car in front using radar. It's hooked up to the lanes there, so it should keep me in the middle of the lane. To auto steer, look, there it is, it's auto steering. Shouldn't really take your hands off the steering wheel. If you do it for too long, the car will get cross and go no and disengage. I would always specify that system on a car if I was going to be doing lots of motorway miles, which I tend to do for my job. It just makes it easier that you're not having to concentrate quite so much on just doing fine inputs to stay in lane and all that kind of stuff when you're driving. I suppose I should see what this car is like on a twisty road, but really around here there aren't any. All I've got are roundabouts. So let's try it around here. Ooh. So it stays fairly flat, but you can tell that it's heavier than the normal GLA. But it's all right, it's fine for whatever you're going to really need. Right, so I'm coming up to the end of the limited time I've got with this car, and oh look, there's some handy charging points there. Let's just park here and see how we did in terms of the energy consumption. Got 80% of the battery remaining. My consumption is 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. The battery capacity is 66.5 kilowatt hours. So if I do some quick maths, that's around 180 miles of real world range. So the car's supposed to do 250, I got 180. Maybe I could do better if I wasn't on the motorway for so much, but there we go. That's what it's doing for me in reality. Not amazing, but that's always the case really with electric cars. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Mercedes EQA? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider the EQA. It's a decent enough electric car, but it's just a little bit compromised in terms of practicality. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you click on those windows there, you can watch some more videos. And if you click on that box there, you can go to the Carwow electric car hub page where loads of reviews about electric cars, loads of information, buying guides and offers.